What's up, everyone? Lord Ryujin here again, bringing you another narration. Now, last week I did try to do a video, recorded it in front of a camera and everything, and once again YouTube gave me difficulties with trying to upload it. So I think I'm just going to stick with narration. I tried to do one earlier, and again, for some reason that particular kind of file did not work, so I'm going back to doing it this method. Whatever. Anyways, this week's topic is free-to-play games and why I don't like them. Now, before I go off on that rant, I do like free-to-play games. Certain games like Ascend, Hand of Call, Jetpack Joyride, things like that, they're fun to play because they're free to play. You know, they're just the kind of games that you can download for free and you can enjoy. But there is a certain thing about it, and this more or less goes towards Ascend, Hand of Call more than anything, but it also goes to all free-to-play games. I don't like the hand-in-the-pocket method that these games take up. That is my primary gripe with them. You know, you start the game off easy. You know, it gets you a good ways in, and you feel like this ain't so bad. This is actually a fun game. And then it starts getting to a point, especially in Ascend. Anybody who's in the closed beta knows what I'm talking about. And if you're not in the closed beta, when the game comes out and you're playing it, you'll understand a little bit better what I'm talking about. The soul system is not exactly very generous. You know, it only gives you a few hundred to maybe, 1,000, depending upon the types of enemies that you fight and how you fight them, per horde. And while that's okay, it's a big problem. You know, I'll give you a perfect example. A dungeon that I was doing just earlier today, I went in with a very strong weapon, and it degraded after about 50 to 100 kills. And then it took like 6,000 some odd souls to repair it. But I didn't have that amount. So I had to go down to a lower amount. I had to go down to a lower weapon, a lower ranged weapon. And throughout the course of this dungeon, I got a stronger weapon, stronger than my initial weapon. Problem was, that degraded after about 50 or so kills. So it became useless. So I went through two powerful weapons in one dungeon. I did not have enough souls. And honestly, after hours of playing, I still didn't have enough souls to repair them back to where I could use them. Because the game is focusing so much on having to repair everything. You know? Because everything is like a level or two stronger than you. So as soon as it hits you, I don't know, after 25, 30 hits or so, you lose it. You lose the boots, you lose your gauntlets, you lose your helm, stuff that's supposed to help protect you. After a while, you lose your armor. And if you're constantly spending souls to get that back, well, then that becomes a problem. You know, it starts to become the kind of thing that you kind of wish that you didn't have to play. But the game becomes really fun, of course, if you stick your hand in your pocket and you give them money, because then you're able to actually buy points and do stuff with. It's really an annoying kind of system. And while there would normally be nothing wrong with this method, this way of playing, because certain games like Jetpack Joyride, they do it to where you just accumulate the coins and then you use them to buy upgrades. The thing is that I don't start losing the upgrades while I'm playing a game like Jetpack Joyride. You understand? I'm sure anybody who's played the game understands what I'm talking about. You get coins throughout the game and you use them to, like buy a jetpack. That jetpack is yours forever. It doesn't just start degrading after 20 games or so, and then you have to repair it. It doesn't do that. That's my biggest problem with Ascend and this whole system of setting things up. And the only reason why I don't like it that much is just because I don't have, the 6,000 Microsoft points to get enough souls to be able to do something worthwhile. And then just because of the overwhelming amount of souls that it takes to get anything, to get a half-decent weapon, one that's going to last you a good long while, although probably not that long because of the fact that they degrade, is going to be well over 20,000 souls. And when I'm having to build up 4,000 or 5,000 souls just to repair a boot, 4,000 or 5,000 souls just to repair a helm, how in the world am I supposed to get stronger better armor, weapons. You know, how am I supposed to get spells? You know, I mean, it's just the kind of thing that it's mostly grinding, and I don't like it. And that's the majority of my gripe. You know, I had a lot of stuff that I could talk about this week, but that's just about it. That's why I don't like free-to-play games right there, people. Make sure that you leave your comments, of course, on the topic. But for me, free-to-play games are still fun to play because they are free to download. And, you know, if it comes to something like a PC or another Xbox 360, it's going to be more convincing for me to convince a friend. More convincing for me to convince. I'm going to be more able to convince a friend to get into it because it's free for them to download and I'm already a part of it than not. But at the same time, I don't like the fact how free-to-play games have that whole limitation of we're not going to be very generous with giving you the things that you actually need to be able to progress well in this game. And so because of that, you're only going to take 3 or 4 hits, and then you got to run, and you got to heal up, and it takes 10, 15 minutes for you to take out a horde of enemies, you know, simply because your armor degrades to where you can't take a hit, and your weapon degrades to where now you got to go down to something weaker. It's just a pain in the butt. And then, but if you give us money, you'll get souls to where you can do what you need to do. I mean, it's painful. It's painstaking, it's annoying, and it's my biggest gripe when it comes to free-to-play games. But that's my rant for now, guys. I hope it wasn't too long or too annoying for any of you. Thanks for joining me this week. I apologize for not having a video last week. Hopefully I will have one for you next week, if all else continues to go smoothly like it is. But again, like, subscribe as always if you like what you hear. Make sure that you leave your comments on the topic or even leave suggestions for future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.